Chapter 33 The Cosmic Offering. As the humble woman tended to the fire, I had to take a step back when I realized she tended to our community. And although the sensation of burning up in the mind was not gentle, in my heart I saw that her life was set up to help our world come into unity. Seated in meditation, this priestess continued to chant. She offered up blessings, then tossed more wood into the fire as I remained reverent. But at the same time, the fire had burnt so much of my life away that I could not wait until this fire ceremony was done. There is a fire within all of us, but many refuse to get near the flames because we don't want to burn alive. But for those who willingly throw ourselves into the fire, then we are reborn, and everything except the truth and our purity must die. I couldn't tell you much about the fire, because who I thought I was had come to burn away. Was this 9 seconds, 9 nights, or 9 years while that fire raged? What was once rage turned into love. Now anger vanished and left behind space and peace. That fire handled my problems, my attachments, my dependency, and selfish impurities. But above all, it taught me to surrender to the nature of divinity. How could I be in control when I am like a pencil that God holds? And after this inner heat of the fire, once there was nothing left to burn, we became good like gold. After the flames died down, there was only one thing left our vision could see. Among the ashes was a lump of the golden keys. It had melted into a solid brick of golden purity. With the gold in hand, I walked to the edge of the cave when the humble woman and I gazed upon the distant cities that had dominated the land. Far off in the distance was the modern world, while greed, ignorance, and aggression sprouted up from the minds of the humans. Now what will happen? I asked her. We have 2 choices. Our world must decide between competition or the path of cooperation. Today, the leaders of the world have driven us apart into separation. And although it has accelerated the growth of our species, it also pushes us ever so close into the next cataclysm. No matter what the world does next, do not close off your heart to others. What we see in the world are contractions and birth pains. Signs of arrogance and ignorance in politics do indeed appear as precursors of the system's inevitable destruction. But for the sake of the spirit of our next age yet to be born, we must come forth together. So what is this birth, we wonder? It is the birth of our greatest potential yet, the divine realization. The humble woman stayed in the cave while I kept my promise to the good geisha as I met her back in the surface circus. It had been a long journey inward while the fire had scorched me, and although our communication had been distant, I knew that my mind and love were pure because now my heart was fully open. The moment I got back to the surface circus, I felt my stomach twist in a knot. Something didn't feel right, but I also knew that through this journey, no problem was too severe when you know how to move beyond opposites. When I first saw the geisha, she seemed to be torn between 2 realities, and this had affected her greatly. Many of the performers on the surface circus had whispered in her ears as they persuaded her to change her entire reality. Unaware of what changed, I reflected on the promise between the good geisha and I. Before I left, we had spoken about our options, and I told her I'd respect whatever her future needed. But we committed to a plan, and we agreed upon a future where we would keep our relationship going as our souls would remain in harmony. And so I spoke to the good geisha. "It's so good to see you, and I can't believe I'm finally back home. The journey has been far more difficult than I imagined, but now my heart is fully open. Surely this journey has tested all of us, and I realize that you and I are not separate beings, but rather, together, I see us as one soul, as we are in union." And so the geisha spoke. "That's not how I see it. I've had some enlightenments while you were gone. I see us as separate," she said. In shock, my mouth dropped, and I fell to my knees in our kitchen. What changed since I was gone, and what on earth had happened? But together we are one, not two, and so we are not separate from each other. You and I are soulful lovers. And beyond just being in love with you, this union is the whole idea behind all the teachings of yoga. Our relationship may not be flawless, but together, our relationship is a vehicle for our spiritual evolution and awakening. Whatever arises in life, we can use it as a great experience. Whatever is thrown our way, there isn't anyone else I want to be with, because I know we can grow beyond all challenges. It's taken so long for me to become the man I am. So why would you be willing to jeopardize our relationship?" And so the geisha spoke. "I just don't understand. Now you're the guy I've always wished for, but how come it took you so long? I'm still trying to understand what you've been waiting for over the past year and a half. I'm afraid our future looks to be changing because I still see you as your past version," she said. "But we're right here in the present, and I'm not the person I was a day ago or a year ago. The first Yoga Sutra states, Atha Yoga Anushashanam, which means, now is the yoga teaching. It's saying that yoga happens in the now, right here in the present. It's not about the past or the future, but we must look to see who we are in this very moment. We are the beings who are willing to go deeper under the surface circus, because within us, we are spiritual beings. Who I am right here is a man that is loyal, committed, and in love with you. I took a journey to go so deep, and it wasn't easy, but I feel that my heart and mind is finally prepared to marry you." "How do you know that?" she asked. "Because we're not separate. Together we are one. I'm now aware of what time does to the living body, and I want to grow old with you because I've seen who you are under this surface circus, and the woman I saw was pure love. This road is the path to union within our spiritual souls, but I don't understand why you see things differently." And finally, I realized that this journey allowed me to open my heart completely. And so the good geisha spoke. "But I'm afraid, because I see you as your past version, and I don't understand why it took you so long to open your heart fully. How can I know that this is who you really are? I'm not sure if I can commit while I travel internationally," she said. "Then just tell me honestly, what do you want from me? Are you in or are you out?" "I don't know," she said. "I need clarity. Are you with me or don't you want to be with me?" "I don't know," said the good geisha. "Please, I'm begging you. Do you want to be with me or do you want to break up with me?" "I don't know," she said again. After that, I had to take a step back. The whole reason I got so broken from this wasn't because she didn't know, but because we both knew it, and it was time for her to go. but I didn't want to accept it. There was something here, and I was holding out for it. Maybe there was something within her that I held on to. Her mind may have said she didn't know, but we knew she had to go. And even though she didn't want to say it, we both knew our hearts had felt the depths of it. Now what was it? It was that feeling that pulls and unites two people together. Ah yes, this is a yoga, a union, or a rejoining and relinking of two halves from each other. That's why neither her nor I wanted to let go, because the heart had felt our yoga. We weren't always rolling around on mats in practice, but together there was something we touched underneath the surface. Why yes, we were united with the Dharma, and together there was a shared duty, or a place and a refuge where her and I would not be separate. Oh, that's why she said she didn't know, even though she knew it, because maybe the words hadn't come to her yet, and I was right there with her, but I didn't want to hear the truth about it. I was busy doing anything and everything to convince her to stay. But even when both of us felt change coming our way, it was I who really refused to accept it, because I'd been imagining the opposite, and I didn't want to know what would happen to me if our paths split. She said she didn't know, but she knew it within. There was something beyond opposites, and anyone who brings those opposites together touches a place of deeper love and harmony. Why, surely you know it too. So why would anyone want to let go of that heart-expansive union? What if love is like a chemical reaction? Then we really must think wisely about the two ingredients we are mixing. We should really get to know what we're working with on a deep level. Otherwise, it could be explosive, and this one sure felt to be on the verge of it. Oh, but the truth was that I always wanted to find someone to go deeper under the surface, and I hope I hadn't tricked her into it. These layers will someday fall away, but the love would remain. And as I'd be imagining all of this, she'd walk by me on the sofa and say something like, "Hey, can you do this?" And I'd say, "Sure." But what I really meant was, maybe later, because I'm floating around in the unconsciousness. Now, where was I with all this? Well, looking ahead, it would be good for her, because we both knew that an artist's mess overflows with colors and chaos. I was also a sloppy toothbrusher, so maybe she knew it wouldn't work with time. But then time would bring us closer, and it led us to a certain safe haven within both of our hearts. Oh, I remember the day it happened. We named that morning sadhana. It was our spiritual practice, and there was no ego, masks, or reasons to be skeptics. We'd study on the porch, and time would fly by for hours. Oh, I'm afraid the advanced students seem to drink a lot of coffee and smoke a bunch. The journey isn't for the faint of heart, but she hung in there the best she could. Maybe tonight I'll pray to God and say, why'd she say? I don't know. Was she aware of the depths of our loving connection? How do you put into words what feelings may voice as an objection? I knew she had to go, but my heart opened so big with her beside me that I couldn't comprehend how any of this could happen. You guys may think I'm an asshole, but truly, I'm a simple human man, and this whole process, something in me feels like I got wronged. But what really happened is that I fell in love. Sometimes love can be a little messy, but the same could be said about the unconscious. When you join together two halves, it's really best that you've got to put everything into it, and I know both of us gave our very best to it. I could never quite explain what I was doing in the unconsciousness, and I also don't know if she cared to ask. But maybe it did concern her or frighten her, because it's not always the prettiest. A person could even appear a bit transient if you find someone in the unconscious. Not quite a space cadet, but more like a treasure revealer digging all evening in the depths. By the time my heart opened big enough, I knew that the purity of real love was anything but a mess, and it made up for any fear of the future or past by which my mind might be stressed. Suddenly, I wasn't concerned with it, or at least not in the heart-open presence. Somehow, with God's help, I managed to dig to India, and something happened within that whole process. Why goodness, a lot of my life had been a mess, while she kept the place so clean and tidy. My goodness, she'd get through the whole day without leaving a dish out of place. But I'd spill first thing in the morning when I touched the coffee. I learned fast that there are levels of acceptance in the yogi's spotless fortress. Keep all those dresser drawers shut, and she's likely to go all out in bed. Why, she was kind enough to give me a room to make a complete mess in. It was like a great secret door, except it was a spare bedroom with colorful silk that appeared like a portal. And so I'd drift away into the unconsciousness, and when I'd find myself in there, with my little Shruti box instrument, I'd look at some pictures of saints and sages. Oh, then I'd hear her, and she'd walk over. Now, isn't it so strange to be interrupted by a real person when you're in the depths of the unconsciousness? Not in a negative way, but because, by being in communication with a person in the world, while also deep in the unconsciousness, it blends both of each awareness, and so I'd be half in and half out of it. What was my mind feeling around again? It was something like the next sentence for a story, and so as if I'd be rock climbing, I'd catch a rhyme with one hand, and the sentences would keep me elevating. Oh Lord, the journey into the depths of the subconscious regions got so bizarre that everything started to be connected. So much so that my conscious mind would often have trouble with basic living. Rather, in my free time, I'd lay out near the flowers, in the uncut grass, and play with twigs or stare at the clouds. The mind and awareness swam in the subconscious levels, but up on the surface, I preferred peace and quiet. Oh, I'd never last long in a real circus, but this whole thing called life was quite the juggling act. And what was my hidden secret? Why, this writing was my big performance. A writer's gotta write, regardless if it pays for their living. Yes, this song and dance is rather strange, but it's also not something I can escape, because it isn't mine at all. And how do you explain with words what it's like to spend years digging in the unconscious before her and I even met? Do I just tell her I met an invisible dragon? Or should I lead her toward the possibility of some alien abduction? Sure, anything in the unconscious could be linked to the imagination. And since it got so surreal and bizarre, I found that I stopped communicating any of these ideas that I found. Whereas writing gave me a place to put all these searches. It seemed each journey would last 42 chapters for reasons I'll never know why. And as I would write, it would pull me along, as if I was wearing a blindfold, or if I had lost my sight. Word by word, it would lead me, while I stumbled, kicked, and felt the surroundings of the unconsciousness. Since only my inner awareness could travel, all the sight was restricted, so it was nearly impossible to know if there was a map within these dark places. And without a map, I'd always just start by typing. Then on each journey I found a theme, and so there would be the arrival of some sort of guardian. Maybe an easy way to put it is that if you go to the beach and sit in silence, you might get a visit from a dolphin. The sudden emergence of the living something makes you want to get closer and investigate. The same happened with all these stories. I'd be sitting somewhere, waiting around, until I saw the right creature or guide. But truly, I swear, I had no idea about any dragons. And all of these journeys underneath the unconsciousness can really stress a regular human, not to mention what it can do to a real relationship. It gets intense. There's no way to explain all this, and so her and I found ways to love each moment. Yes, we tried to live life with love and a sense of purpose. So we went on to make the best of this gift called life. It was a ride through time in a very wild way, and it's going to hurt like hell to miss ya. I know you said you didn't know, but now I know that you had to leave us. I just haven't exactly figured out why yet. I guess I always saw the possibility in us. The mind knew it was time, but now my brain wonders why love makes it so difficult to disconnect. There is so much good in us, so much to learn from our experiences, and I can already feel your absence from it. Oh, she told me she didn't know, but she knew, because something within tried to alert me, but I refused to let her go. When any heart is filled from a journey, it'll always call that love home, even if it risks getting broken. Why such loving fullness lives within every shattered heart, because it means we felt all the same pain, which means we're all lucky to have felt love by another human. This place, the place with her that I refused to let go of, that was yoga. It was a path to the heart opening, and we call that fruition. That's the relinking, and that's the pure union. When you bring the right combination together, it can lead us to a place called heaven. But it's not a real spot. Rather, it's an awareness and a presence. To feel love so deeply is yoga. Call it the union method. And this joining of halves is aiming with the relinking, which is the same in all religion. Except instead of relinking with God, we discover God within another person. Such love expands until it becomes a force that ripples wide with invisible vibrations. Who could ever say exactly what love is and how it works? It seems that love is but a felt expansion, a direct experience, which leads to a relinking or the yoga of soulful awareness. Such direct experiences can create a connection, which goes far deeper when you journey together and do work underneath the surface.
"Let me speak to her,"
said Shruti when a raven flew upon her shoulder.
"From now on, Runa will be there to watch over and protect you."
The bird flew to the love in my life and landed on her shoulder beside her ear. Now Shruti spoke.
"Before you go, I'd like to give you a little advice."
Paused Shruti.
"They told me only the light would set me free, but darkness did the work for me. It whispered truths my mind denied, the parts of me I'd cast aside. I've danced with ghosts inside my chest, the ones that never let me rest. They spoke in screams, in quiet blame, and whispered softly, 'I'm the same.' I learned that healing wears not only white. It bleeds, it screams, it moves through the night. My sanity is not calm or clean. It's scars that glow in black between. The witch they feared was never mad, just tired of masks she once had. She knows that pain's no curse or flaw. It's the psyche's way to make us raw. So call me wicked, cold, or strange. I speak with wounds that learn to change. The dark is my mirror, fierce, profound. That's where my lost self was found,"
said Shruti. Then which way does a soulful person go?
There is a choice, a commitment, that all of us are called to make. Or we can abandon our fate, and life will keep repeating while we make mistakes. Devote your life to the duty of yoga, but it must be in pure service. Why, the moment it turns for the individual, you're back in the surface circus. There is a choice, a commitment, that is always open for each of us to make. Such a choice is a yoga, and in the highest case, it is called devotion. It leads to pure freedom, and that is when the lotus truly blooms. Remember, we leave everything here on earth, and so earth isn't a place to acquire physical things, but rather, it's more like a classroom. If you make the commitment to sadhana and spiritual matters with the highest aim and service, then know you'll always be guided. And even if you change your mind or turn your back to this commitment, the call will always be waiting, hoping you reclaim it. On the other hand, some go back to the surface circus and look for love or a way to get their fix on their desires. And so what we find is that if we turn away from spiritual matters and detach from yoga, we are feeding only our personal requests, which often leads people of great potential to become narcissists. Often in the earth circus, people can lure you in with their charm and charisma, but it's just a way to draw something in, and so we must consider the deeper intention, which is truly the reason something is wanted. It's sad to say, but up in the earth circus, people may not realize it, but in time, if you don't have a spiritual practice, you can become very selfish. And in such a circus, it'll turn you into a narcissist. A narcissist is a person who has excessive interest in themselves. They think the world revolves around them alone. With an inflated sense of self-importance, they are preoccupied with power, beauty, and success, which makes them feel entitled. They begin to exploit others for their own gain, and they lack empathy. They do anything to be admired, and so they live with a sense of grandiosity. From this, they lack accountability and are unwilling to take up true responsibility. They'll blame others for their problems, and they won't apologize if they really hurt someone. They tend to end with superficial relationships because their relationships are based upon what others can do for them, rather than cultivating genuine connection and love. These superficial relationships can leave both parties feeling unfulfilled, which leads to loneliness and isolation. A narcissist is preoccupied with status and appearance, and they use charm and charisma as manipulative tools to gain admiration and control. While a healthy leader inspires and supports others, a charismatic narcissist uses their magnetic personality to draw people in, while their goal is to make followers depend on them to serve their ego's desires. So choose wisely. Sadhana will reveal the way, but beware of the circus's siren song. That siren song will always tempt you, making you believe it's where your outer layers belong. But the duty of the heart has one purpose: to be in union with pure loving awareness,
said Shruti. Oh, I prayed she wouldn't go pick a boy from the circus, but rather, I prayed that she'd find someone to look after her, protect her, and guide her soul. It was out of my hands now, and with all of this said, I knew I'd never be cut out for that circus. Why, even teachers in the circus may lead classes to people they call their students. But what if each student was a master within themselves? Surely each person was a teacher with a teaching, and by opening the heart to everyone, we can find ways where we are always in the practice of yoga. Some say that the goal of yoga is union with the divine, which doesn't happen on the surface. Today, I surrender to the way things are, even if it's not the way I wish things to be. But as they say, if you love somebody, then set them free. As I looked at her, I didn't see a geisha. I saw her soul, and that was the real lotus. I could see that place where her and I were in union. Long before you had followers, I saw the real you, and that's how I fell in love. Just remember, we are not two, but rather we are always one. And last thing, even though you have to go, I've always strived to be nothing but love. You should know that I am the man who never gave up on us. I guess you could say I now have the unspoken closure. But where will I go? I asked the wind. Surely, as a living man, I can make choices to direct this human life. But when it comes to our true calling, what was the next step to bring it to fruition? And so Shruti spoke.
When we begin to surrender, when we let go of our expectations, our desires, and our worldly attachments, then something profound and sacred begins to unfold within us. There is deep peace within that isn't dependent on any external conditions. And so even though it is time to go, surrender to God and the path will unfold. Like so many others who have gone into the depths before you, we go where we are called. Do not chase, but rather, what is meant for you will not pass you by,
said Shruti. But why? Why has this happened?
Because through this hardship, there are so many others that you will be able to help with all that you've gone through in this life. Know that the universe loves you, and it has its own plan with how you can help. You are not being denied, but rather trust that you are being led,
said Shruti. The intensity of heartbreak had become so normal that the heat of such transformation was now something I did not fear, as it had become a sort of treasure. With the purified gold of the mind in hand, I cherished the pure spiritual wealth unknown to so many humans. The gold felt heavy, and I didn't know what I was meant to use it for. When we surrender, we can trust that we end up where we are meant to go. And so, after I had walked long enough on my own, I found myself at the old temple ruins I had once called my home. Somehow, I ended up back where I started, and this was the ancient temple I had once been chained to from all my old suffering. But now that I had found myself at the footsteps of these temple ruins, I sat in silence to feel the depths of the extreme nature of how excruciating it is to observe the heart breaking. I blinked when I saw a dark blue woman rise before me. Half of her body stood in the river, while the other half of her spirit stretched beyond the earth and into eternity. She wore the ocean as a robe, for this is what I heard. Her hair was the waves upon the sea, and in the beginning, she was the Word. When I started this journey, these ruins had once felt like a prison, but now it was a home and a safe haven. I reflected back to recall that this ancient temple is where I had once been chained as a madman.
Shall we proceed? Everything is possible now that we have our offerings,
said Shruti. With my hands in prayer, she gazed down to me. Meanwhile, I held on to the purified gold as I gazed up to her infinity throughout the cosmic seas. If there was no wind, there would be no waves, and wherever her eyes went, so too the weather obeyed. Everything she did was a symbol through nature.
Do you remember when we met? You insisted upon going to the other shore,
she asked. Yes, I remember.
Shall we go? I know how we'll get a ride over,
said Shruti. She waved her arm out across the water when in the distance, a ferryman began to cross the waves. This boat began a journey from the far side, which is the place where only divine beings stayed. In that moment, it felt as if the past, present, and future had all aligned. We stood in the same place I'd found her, but I was a totally different human. She had led me through a process, and through this, I survived a great transformation. What has happened?
You mean your transformation? There is a property within life that few know, and so we call it emergence. Some may think of it as a great reaction or transmutation through an alchemical process. What happens when we take two things that have their base properties, but upon their combination, we get something that never existed before them? For instance, take wood and flint. Through the proper development, we can create fire, which was not present in the first place. This type of emergence can change the nature of existence, if only we summon our courage to go through the process and create it. We took the lower part of you, which is man, and heated it with the part of you that we call the soul. Through this journey and the property of emergence, you are now ready to pay your toll,
she said. What toll?
When the ferryman comes across, he'll need to know that you are sincere. Prove to him that you have sat in the fires and been transformed. Prove that you can surrender, as you are no longer swayed by fear,
she said. That ferryman in the boat still had a long journey to cross the sea, but a part of me couldn't help but wonder if this was all a dream, and so I stood on my tiptoes, peering out in disbelief.
Come now, I've already summoned him. It's time for the last thing for which you are called,
said Shruti. Do you want me to offer him this gold?
The gold is very useful, but keep it in the pocket of your pants. I've got something else in mind. The ferryman and I are good friends, so I'm sure he'll accept your toll of a sun dance,
she said. A sun dance? Then why didn't we just go across to begin with, and skip past the journey of so much suffering?
Humans are made into angels on earth, not in heaven.
She paused.
And if I pulled you across the sea to realms beyond the earth, you would not appreciate the divine process. The only people who can travel beyond earth are the souls who have endured and overcome great conflicts. When you meet a divine being, you'll find that they have no use for status, fame, or popularity. But there is only one thing they respond to. They admire heartfelt offerings of pure sacrifice,
said Shruti. And what does all this mean?
The time has come, and so we bring it into fruition. Upon this land, there is no shortage of separate spirits upon the earth, but so few have established a reliable divine connection,
she said. What do you mean, a divine connection?
When the cosmic egg hatches from the earth, its birth can only be activated in the realm of the divine. That's when we merge the spiritual and material worlds together. We call that fruition, and it's only a matter of time,
said Shruti. As the ferryman arrived, he wore a black cloak as he stepped out from his boat. One of his hands was white, the other black, and the same went for each of his eyes. His head was that of a wild animal, as I tried to step aboard, but he wouldn't allow me to enter onto his vessel. My mind was still, but what was there left to do?
He needs to know that he can trust you,
said Shruti. Then what is it that I have left to prove?
That you are brave enough to give it all away. Only those who die before they die can cross this river. Otherwise, a soul must wait until it's truly ready, and then this earth is where you will remain,
she said. The ferryman's eyes would not blink when I heard Shruti dragging a set of chains. We were near the dark goddess statue within the ancient temple ruins when Shruti began to explain.
They say that death is destruction, but I spin the wheel of reality. Terrifying as I may appear to be, as time, I am the embodiment of the raw feminine cosmic energy called Shakti. By creating birth and death, I give life to all. Please do not squander this opportunity in front of you. This next decision is why you have been called. Know that whenever there is a decline in virtue and an increase in unrighteousness, O Surya, at that time I manifest myself upon the earth. Although the world fears me because I represent death, know that I am the reason for rebirth and strength. I am the natural process. I am the spiritual laws within all of existence. My movement is cyclical, like a never-ending chain link of events, and each link is a birth and a death. All of these chain events reveal the history of our entire universe. The essence of any death is a transformation. When a strain of the environment becomes intolerable, I arise to pave a new way,
said Shruti. Yes, this was the exact place I had found her. This is where the chains had once held me captive.
Come on, let's make it iconic,
she said. She threw the chains over the archway of the entrance gate before she fastened the chains into 2 large metal hooks. What do you mean, death?
The curse has ended, and soon you will discover that we are truly blessed,
she said. What in the world is happening?
I know who you really are. You are not a madman, not some villain,
she said. Her eyes gazed at the giant hooks on the chain that hung in the open air when I caught her whisper.
Offer us a sun dance.
You want to dance? Is that all? Then after our dance, the ferryman will take us across? Fine, whatever must be done. Shruti's eyes grew wide when a smile emerged upon her face. Clueless as to which dance this was, she came and wrapped her arms around me when I put my arms upon her waist. No music, but rather the tide was our only tune. Then I watched her eyes transform when she emitted a deep red and black hue. The sky turned dark when she picked me up off the ground. Her strength was not of this world, and then a moment later, she pressed my back into the hooks when blood and pain began to resound. She pierced those 2 hooks into my back before my body began to sway. As she removed herself, I was suspended in between the earth and the sky as my body dangled as it was pierced under this open archway.
The sun dance is a sacrificial ritual, and during such a performance, the dance serves as a means of thanking the sun for all of its past favors, as it is the sun that helps us fulfill our personal vows. And so this sun dance serves as a petition for protection and blessings for our united future. Our ceremony begins with bravery for the one who pierces their skin with skewers through the chest or back. In some cases, the person is lifted off the ground until the skewers are torn out. This represents a symbolic death, the annihilation of ego, which is the last step in the process of fruition before earth can merge with heaven. An offering is the essential idea in the Native American ceremony, which involves dancing, fasting, and purifying to renew the community and the earth. Such a fierce offering is a direct message to the divine, and in your death, we are open for the divine to grant us a new birth. This, my lover, is how we will discover what we are here for,
said Shruti. With my sight focused upon the sun, it was so bright that I could only see the light. Now the spirit of a man came close as he whispered, "Everything is going to be all right," said the ferryman. How long must this go on?"
"Until you are gone," said the ferryman.
Each moment felt like an hour, while the spikes pierced my flesh as my mind began to race, while the rays of the great sun demanded our attention. Was this all a dream, a hallucination, or a great teaching? Yet what was the meaning of this sacrificial offering as a lesson?
"That's it. Now we wait until the sun says we can release you,"
said the ferryman.